In this video, I'll review parts of the coordinate plane and how to plot points. The horizontal line is called the x-axis. In the middle, we have an x value of 0, and when moving to the left, we're counting down from 0, so we'll get all the negative numbers. When moving to the right from 0, we're counting up, so we'll get all the positive numbers. The vertical line is called the y-axis. In the middle, we have the y value of 0. When we move down, we're counting down, so we'll go down to the negative numbers. And when we move up from 0, we're counting up, so we'll have all the positive numbers. Notice that the numbers are written directly on the lines. Each of those lines represent the value where either x is that number or y is that number. These numbers are not written in between the squares. It's not that you're counting the in-between square spaces, but you're looking at those lines and where those lines intersect. When graphing and identifying points on the coordinate plane, every point is labeled with the x-coordinate, comma, the y-coordinate, and then having parentheses around both of these numbers. These can be described as points, coordinates, or ordered pairs. The order of these numbers matter. For example, 3, 2 is not the same as 2, 3. 3, 2 means find where x equals 3 on the x-axis, find where y equals 2 on the y-axis, and then graph that point where they meet up. The point 2, 3 means find where x equals 2 on the x-axis and find where y equals 3 on the y-axis and graph where they meet up. When you are comfortable with graphing points, you wouldn't need to add these lines every single time. If you do need to use them in the very beginning, make sure you erase it afterwards, so then that way your graph just looks a little cleaner. A negative x value would be to the left of the y-axis. The y-axis is where x equals 0, so then everything to the left of that is going to be a negative number. So the point -4, 1 would be where x equals -4 and y is a positive 1. So it's going to be above that x-axis. The x-axis is where all the y values are 0. So if above is where all the y values are positive, then below the x-axis is going to be where all the y values are negative. So -4, -6 would be at that same x value of -4, and then find where y is equal to -6 on the y-axis, and wherever they meet up is going to be that point. Test your understanding on Desmos on the next slide. You're going to graph each of the following points in whatever the specified color is. You can change the color by clicking on the button on the far right and plot your points. If you make a mistake, you can use either the eraser or the undo arrow key. Later on, we are going to be adding straight lines with graphing, which is using this tool. However, for right now, just use the sketch tool because we're only just plotting points.